What's up, everybody? This is Brandon Hill, the senior pastor at Transformation Christian Fellowship, and you are now tuned into my 5 lessons that I learned in 5 years of ministry. This coming September 5th exactly, Transformation Christian Fellowship will be celebrating 5 years. I'm telling you, 5 years, boy, the time has gone by fast. But I have 5 lessons that I want to share with every aspiring pastor, business owner, anyone who God has put a dream on them. I want to share some lessons that I think would inspire you in your journey. All right, so my first lesson that I want to give to you all is this, that just because something does not go as you expected or planned does not mean that there is still some good that is not being done in it. Listen, there were some things that I thought we would have been doing these first 5 years, or there were certain things I written down that I thought we would have seen by now. But guess what? Even with that not happening in the way that I thought, God was still working on it for our good. So I don't want you to see it as a failure just because it didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to. I want you to trust God and just know that, listen, there's still good being done in it. He's still planning you. He's still building you up. And just because it's not gone as what you expected it to go does not mean that it's not heading in the right direction and that it's not leading in the right direction where God is trying to take you. All right, so lesson 2 that I want to share with you is this. If I had to sum up this 5 years, and one of the biggest lessons that I learned would be one word, and that is persistence. Yes, this 5 years, I'm telling you, took a lot of persistence. I feel like if I had to explain that God was literally building up our endurance to persist. Listen, you have to think, we were not under, our church was not under a big organization. It wasn't a church that came out of another church. It was none of that stuff. This was independent. We were trying to, get money. We were trying to do this, we're trying to do that. And so in these 5 years, when we think about persistence, it's called, moving straight forward and focus despite any challenges and obstacles. In our early years of a church, we're going through financial challenges that we had to go through, building challenges with us being at 5 p.m. That's not even something that is really something that's the norm in our area that you have to deal with. And you're dealing with people, multiple personalities. So those are challenges that you're dealing with as well. And then not on top of that, you have a worldwide pandemic. Listen, we had to persist through all of those challenges. Let me tell you something. The biggest thing that you have to understand is that when you've been truly given a God-ordained assignment, you are really going to have to learn the lesson of persistence. Because guess what? Things are going to get hard. Things are going to get tough. And these are the moments that you have to learn how to press through what is challenging, press through what is tough. Because guess what? I am a witness that looking at this now on the other side of it, our church is growing. The experiences have been going to another level. We've been able to do more stuff on our digital platforms, on all of our digital platforms. That we've never been able to do before, all because we persisted through challenging times. So the biggest lesson that I can really encourage you with, and what really encouraged me during these 5 years, is learning how to persist during challenging times. Don't you give up. Don't throw in the towel. I want to encourage you now that when you sow, and you're sowing, there's going to come a time when you're actually going to reap. And when you reap, I'm telling you, it is all the stuff you went through before, all the hell that you went through before, I'm telling you, it will all be worth it in the end. All right, so the third lesson that I want to give to you is this one right here that I learned, is that you have to trust God despite your feelings and what He's given you to steward. At the end of the day, our church is not my idea. It was a God idea. It was not something that I originally intended to do. It was something that God impressed upon my heart for such a time as this to lead a people called Transformation Christian Fellowship. And guess what? That means I have to trust Him with what He has allowed me to steward. That means that with your business, with whatever you're called to do, you are a steward of it. And you have to trust that God has the greater intentions for it. despite how you feel. There were many a times where I was in my feelings with God, like, God, what are you doing, man? Listen, what's up? Talk to me. Like, why is this not happening in a certain way? And God had to remind me multiple times in this journey, like, listen, you are just a manager. I am the owner. So, and you got to remember that. Despite your feelings, you got to trust God. Because at the end of the day, when you see how he brings everything to be, and you be a good steward, if you can be a steward over the little, God will make you ruler over many. Oh, lesson 4 is one of my favorite ones. Listen, I hope that you get this one. Lesson 4 is this, that just because the people change does not mean God's promise to you change. I remember there was a Sunday evening when we were clearing out the building, and I went all the way up to the top floor of our building, and I just stood in the room. And God showed me a vision of people on that platform. And at the time, there were people that were there that I thought was going to be around for a long time. And when I start seeing them go one by one, I say, God, why would you show me something if the people that I saw in it is no longer with us? And the thing that blew my mind is when the Holy Spirit said to me, he said, Brandon, just because the people change does not mean my promise changes towards you and the church. And when he said that to me, I was like, wow. Let me tell you something, my friend. People are going to come and go. That comes along with the business. You're going to have great people that come through your ministry, and you're going to have great people come through your business. And there's going to come a time when they're going to have to transition. Not that they transition in a bad way. It's just that things evolve. People evolve. Opportunities come where they can be a blessing to somebody else. Then there are other instances where you thought people were there and they end up being Judases. It all comes along with the territory. But what I'm telling you is that just because people change in your journey does not mean, or that does not deviate God from the total plan. God's plan is still going to go forward with or without those individuals who you thought that were going to be around for the journey. Because guess what? His promise is to his church, and his promise is to you. Despite who comes and goes, you can rest assured to know this, that God's promises is not predicated on people in your life. It's based upon his faithfulness to you. One of the most important lessons that I am still learning, and I pray that you will also learn, is this: be present in the moment. Be present in the moment. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that a lot of times we enjoy, well, let me phrase it this way. A lot of times we are so actively in working the plan that God has for us that we never take the opportunity to enjoy the moment. You know, you can go so far and get to a place and work, but you have to enjoy the journey. Don't get so busy in the work of the plan where you don't enjoy the fruit of what's happening. That's what I'm learning. Have I, like Paul said, have I like comprehended this all? No. It's still something that I'm learning in this journey with God. This is a long journey. This is not a 100-meter race. You know what I'm saying? This is not that. This is a marathon. So you have to enjoy the ups. You got to enjoy the downs, but you have to be present in the moment. Presently be present in the moment, because you don't want to get to the point where you finally reach that high hill and you say, wow, I didn't enjoy the process of getting me to where I am. That's what I've learned in these 5 years of ministry. You got to enjoy it. There hasn't been always enjoyable moments, but listen, I've been present in the moment to understand, like, listen, this is my journey. I'm confident in my journey. I thank God for my journey. Are there some things that I wish I could have shortcutted and gotten around? I think everyone would say that to some degree. But I think in this moment, because I'm presently enjoying the experience and enjoying how God is literally taking a ministry of people from off the backside of the desert and slowly bringing us up into exposure, into being able for our ministry to expand and people to notice of who we are in this area. That is something that you should enjoy. I don't care if it's one person. Listen, that's one person that you didn't have before. I know sometimes we take moments like that for granted, but guess what? Be present in the moment, enjoy the journey, because guess what? It is specifically and uniquely designed for you. So that's what I want you to know. So in my 5 years, 5 lessons that I've learned over this, I pray that this blessed you. I pray this helps you. And remember, transformation starts here. Here's to many more years, Transformation.